Talk money, and if you or a loved one is a recent college graduate, it's very crucial to start off the next chapter on the right foot financially. Joining us to offer some advice is financial expert Marshall Clay with the Welch Group. Good to see you this
morning. Hey, good to see you.
I know some people out there, we may have all been in the same boat. I know I had to work 2 jobs, and it took me 10 years to pay off student loans. It's tough, and I imagine it's even tougher now for a lot of people graduating.
It is very tough, and I think, like we were talking off air, I think many years ago it was kind of like a foregone conclusion what a lot of people were going to do. Either they were going to come back and work for the family business, or they were going to do something that was already sort of set in stone. But now there's so many different options out there, and so it's a lot more difficult now for college graduates to sort of think about the future.
So you really better have a plan. What's number one?
Yeah, I'd say, this is old cliche, but you got to create and stick to a budget. Okay, you've got to understand how much money you have coming in versus how much money you have going out.
Sounds simple, but it's important.
It does, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, how there's so many marketing apparatuses out there that are trying to separate us from our money, right? We talked about buy now, pay later. We talked about credit cards. So it's very easy to start, ramping up the spending immediately after college before you have the appropriate.
So you got to know where that money's going, and there are new apps out there that'll help you track that information.
That's right.
I know people are saying, man, I can barely pay my rent. How do I build an emergency fund?
Well, it just starts, my mom used to say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I mean, don't think about
Not that you're advocating eating elephants.
No, elephant.
Speech.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Figure of speech. Elephants aren't good meat,
right.
But try to build up that 3 to 6 months of emergency cash if you possibly can. But start off small. Start building those.
Just do something, right?
Yeah, just do something.
Maybe skip the Starbucks 1 week. Right?
That's right. Yeah, we've talked about that in the past.
Okay.
Those are very expensive things.
All right, talk about student loans though, because that's a very tough one.
Yeah, and I would say the first thing you have to do is understand what your minimum obligations are, right? I mean, you're going to have minimum payments that you have to make, and now that forbearance period is beyond us, that's been in place for 2 to 3 years, it's going to start affecting your credit score. So understanding what your obligations are, exploring loan forgiveness. There's a lot of programs out there that can help folks with that, but pay the high interest loans first.
And we should say that those are for federal student loans. If you got a conventional student loan, you're already starting to pay back. I will say too that they just want their money. So whatever you can minimally pay, they'll work it out for you. Right. If you can invest early, what would you invest in right now?
So I would say this is one of the most underspoken risk, I think, in the future, and that is the continued theme of inflation, right? So the way that you can combat that is obviously you could make more money, but I think investing early, investing often is very important. So you definitely want to explore those company retirement plans, particularly the company match, right? If you've got a matching component of your company retirement plan as a younger investor, you almost have to take advantage of that. That is free money.
And I know you've recommended before, look into a Roth IRA, minimum investment, minimum monthly increments, and it'll really pay big dividends. Thank you so much, Marshall Clay with the Welch Group.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back.